On Mother's Day, I like for you to hear from folk who actually have real-time speed experience in motherhood. And while I certainly believe that God as omniactive can be whatever we need at any moment, there is such a thing as having to walk in the shoes in order to know what the walk is like. And so I want you to hear from a very special mother on this morning. She's raised some good, smart kids. She is humble, but she's powerful in the spirit. And I'm excited to have you hear from this mother on Mother's Day. Honey, why don't you join me up here?
Well, y'all should have seen me a couple of days ago. I wasn't feeling this happy and excited about it. When I was first asked to speak on Mother's Day, my first response was no, no, and no. But as I prayed and I sat with it for a few days, I could hear the voice of God saying, it's okay. He said, you can do this. You are a mother. You have everything you need. And where you may fall short, my love will pick you up and carry you along the way. That was enough for me. I said, all right, God. So having put the fear aside, I'm here to speak to you briefly about my life as a mother. But before I go too far, I would like to share a few words about a couple of my favorite mothers. This first mother is my mother, the Reverend Dolores Robinson. That's my girl. She was one of my first teachers of how to be a good person, a good woman, a good mother, a good wife. Reverend benefit for the good wife part. He did. I truly admire my mom's strength. Coming up for her was not easy. But still, she managed as a mother to put us first. I always had a hot meal on the table, always was clean, always was smart, never let anybody do anything or say anything to me. My mama was that mama. Yeah. She's simply known as Mama Lois. When Mama Lois speaks, the whole family listens. She's not even the eldest child. Sure. My mother's strength and faith was strong. She made sure we had that in our upbringing. And my mother's favorite Bible verse is Proverbs. Spare the rod, spoil the child. So, if you and your family come to my family cookout, just know Mama Lois ain't sparing the rod for your kids. Sometimes she may swing the rod and she have occasionally threw it at you, but that's all right. She made me who I am today. So, Mom, stand up and let them love you. It's my mama. That's my mama there. Yeah. Now, this next mom, I call her my bonus mom. That's my mother-in-law. That's my ride or die chick right there. I'm telling you. She has always opened her arms with unconditional love. She never made me feel like an outsider in her family. Never have. We always got along and was always real close because we played our position. She was the mama, I'm the daughter and the wife, and there we go. We play our position, we good. When I first got married, my mother-in-law gave me the greatest piece of relationship advice you could ever know. She said, keep other people out your marriage. She said, his family and your family too. I said, all right, I got it. I got it. So one time we was riding in the car, me, my honey, and my mother-in-law. And me and honey was disagreeing about something. I don't know what it was. So we decided we're going to recruit my mother-in-law on my side or his side. So staying true to herself, she looked up at the front of the car and said, look, y'all just sleepy. Y'all need to go home and go take a nap, and y'all feel much better. And that was the end of that. She wasn't getting in that. Never had. I have never had a problem with my mother-in-law. Love you to pieces. Felicia Wells, stand up. Let them love you. Woo. That's my girl right there. So, as a mother, we are teachers, preachers. We are prayer warriors, fellowshippers. Mothers give service. We facilitate healing. As a mother, we are kids. We are our kids' first teachers and preachers. One of the lessons I will always give my daughter is never to be anybody's human rug. It was always important to me as a mother. I knew if I can build her from the inside out, that I was building a strong foundation. So when the storm came, she could stand. And that baby girl of mine right now will stand up and tell you, look, you're not going to talk to me any kind of way. I know who I am and blah, 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 and this and that. But she can stand. She get a little wet. She dry herself off, but she can stand through the storm. And I thank God for that. I did that. That was me. Yeah, I did that. Mothers are prayer warriors. We pray when our children leave home. We pray they arrive safe to their destination. We pray when they make it back home safe. We pray about everything in between. Everything. We're constantly doing that. I know some of y'all praying right now. Keep them, God. Keep them, Lord. When it comes to fellowshipping, it is good to be our children's friend, but it's more important to be their mother. All that friend stuff, that'll come later. I don't really care if you ain't my friend. I'm okay with that. That friendship will come later. So it was all important to me to be my daughter and my son, mother first. Mother first, friend later. I believe motherhood and service to be one and the same because mother constantly gives service. We always doing something. We stop doing our stuff to go do that stuff. We then dust them off, we pick them up, and we move them along the way. When they was little, we worked out mama magic with a kiss. You know, you can kiss their boo-boo, and anything you kiss, it made it feel better. That's kind of go away when they get older. They have to go. I like those days. It feel better, let me kiss it. Finally, we also work in the role of being healers. When I was going through a health challenge not long ago, my son had to help me in the house. I called him, and he met me outside. There stood my son waiting to help me inside. He took me by the arm. We could begin to walk a little slow, walking. After a couple of steps, my son looked at me and said, "Ma, I'm about to pass out." You know that wasn't gonna be good for neither one of us. So you all know, like I do, that it would have been a whole mess if the fire department had to come pick up two folks passed out on one driveway. So the mother bearing me kicked in and said, "Okay, honey, if we can just make it to the garage, I can help you lay yourself down." So we made it to the garage, and I'm leaning against the garage, and I'm fanning him, and here come Reverend. Come up and say, "What are you all doing?" Well, I'm trying not to pass out, and I'm waving him, trying to wake him up. So that's what we was doing. See, as a mother, we risk ourselves to help our children. We sometimes loan the money we don't have. We sometimes we risk our wealth, our health for them. But yet, as mothers, we must always take care of ourselves because the unconditional love we share with our children, we deserve it, and we have to show it to ourselves. So as mamas, sometimes we got to kiss our own boo-boos. Sometimes we got to build ourselves from the inside out, and sometimes we got to lay ourselves down, take a nap, get some rest, but we can have the strength to stand back up, because if we don't take care of ourselves, we can't take care of them. So happy Mother's Day to you all. Thanks for giving me this time to share with you all. I love you, and have a happy Mother's Day.
She left out the part where she was going to tell me, now top that. So now I don't have any pressure. So happy Mother's Day again. Well, so y'all was like real excited when she got up. You ain't gonna give me that dry thank you. So we gonna try this one more time. Happy Mother's Day again. Come on. You know, I get sensitive. You don't give me no dry hay, cause y'all like her. Always recruiting, pulling them to one side or the other. And so for our lesson today, the words come from the words of Jesus when he was going through a very traumatic and difficult moment. And I believe the words, "Behold your mother," as it is presented in the English Standard Version, give us some insight into the importance of motherhood, even in times of trauma and transformation. I believe that when Jesus said to his beloved disciple John and to his mother, "Mother, behold your son, and son, behold your mother," he was calling our attention to the properties of love and how that love must flow. You know, it's interesting that the Jordan River gives life into two bodies of water, the Sea of Galilee and the Dead Sea. And though they have the same source, the Sea of Life, the Sea of Galilee is filled with life, vitality, and activity. If you go to the Sea of Galilee, you will see people boating, you'll see people fishing, you'll see people water skiing off the banks, you'll see people having lunch and having a meal. The Sea of Galilee is full of life. If you go just 65 miles south to the Dead Sea, you see nothing, no activity, nothing vibrant. And I believe the difference is primarily this: the Sea of Galilee flows in and out, and the Dead Sea only flows in. And so I believe the benefit that mothers bring to us is that they allow the love of God to flow in and then flow out. And when the love of mother and the love of God flows in and then flows out, our lives are full, rich, vibrant, and there is activity happening because the love of mother is blessing us abundantly. Jesus says to to John and to Mary, "Behold your mother." And I'm fascinated by this word "behold" because what it really says to us is that there is something to stop and take notice of. And I'm a little concerned because all of us get caught in the rote and rotation of our regular life, and in doing so, we can sometimes overlook the value of things that are important to us. But I want to remind you that we should never be so busy that we forget how important mother is. Mother is a blessing. Mother is a light. And we can take advantage of mother because sometimes familiarity breeds contempt. Einstein said that one of the most fundamental questions we can ask ourselves is whether the universe is friendly or hostile. And I believe the answer is that it is friendly, if for no other reason than because we have mothers. As we all know, a mother's love will not always be soft. Mothers give tough love. Mothers give unconditional love. And mothers give transformational love. Are you ready? And so when Jesus is saying to his mother and to the beloved disciple, "Behold your mother," Jesus is saying this not because that what is happening is obvious. He is saying, take a moment to stop and take note. Tough love does not always look and feel like love. The burning, searing pain on the backside is not a reminder of anything lovely or loving. But mama knows that if she don't get you straight, somebody on the street will. It's important that we get tough love. I feel mine right now. It's 45 years later, and I still feel it. Tough love doesn't always look and feel like love. So how do we get the most out of mom's tough love? I believe that mothers intuitively know that each of us see life in a number of particular ways. We see life through our past, we see life through our perspective, and we see life through our paradigm. Mom knows that many of us get stuck because we are not able to move past our past. And so we keep trying to fit our past in our future, but just as every second must let go of the present moment to move into the next second, mom knows that you and I have to let go of the past so that we can be who we were created to be. See, you cannot be who you are and who you were at the same time. You must be willing to let go of who you were. The past is behind. Behold, I make all things new. The present is connected to and built upon the past. And mom knows that if you can't see past your past, you will continue to walk in it. The perspective determines what we see. You've heard me say before that an eagle and an ant do not share the same worldview. They see life completely differently. And so what we must be willing to do is enlarge our vision so that we can enlarge our territory. God, as love, said to Abraham, look up from where you are. From the north, the south, and the east, and the west, everything that you see, I have given you. But he didn't show it to him until he got rid of Lot. Your mama knows that you got some Lots around you. It's those friends that she's been telling you she's not so sure you could hang out with them. She don't know what it is, but she know it's something. She can't put her finger on it yet, but when they get you in trouble, then she can remind you of what she had been telling you for so long. Perspective determines what we see. And if we are going to embrace a larger vision of ourselves, we got to be willing to listen to the wisdom of mother. She can see around the corner. She can see up the hill. She can see in the valley. She can see in the storm. She's been through it. She knows what she's talking about. It might not be comfortable when she says to you, change your ways. It might not be comfortable when she says to you, it's time for you to move out. It might not be comfortable to you when she says you can do more than spend time in the bottle. But she knows from what she speaks. She knows that your perspective determines what you see. She also knows that your paradigms are the patterns of thought that appear in your life over and over and over again. Why do we continue to run into the same stuff time and time again? How did you meet the same guy in the club, in the coffee shop, and on Black People Meet? I know what you're thinking. How does he know about Black People Meet? This is not the question-answer part of the sermon. How did you marry the same woman for your second, third, and fourth wife? The paradigm, the pattern, the condition was set. And so when mom said to you, there's something about her or him I don't like, you couldn't see it, but she could see the pattern. Moms give tough love. But they don't always have to be biological mothers. I remember when I graduated from high school and I was supposed to leave for college. I talked myself out of catching the bus. My mother said in that tough love voice, well, if you ain't gonna go to school. You gonna work or you gonna do something to make a contribution to the house. So I talked myself out of getting on the bus to go to college, but I talked myself into going to the welfare office. True story. So I went to the welfare office and walked in, too naive to be ashamed. And the woman who would be my caseworker, she talked to me in very aggressive tones. She was extremely rough in her handling of me. And at the time, I couldn't understand why, because all I was doing was just trying to get a little public aid. But what she recognized was that here was a young black man who appeared to have all of his faculties. If you have enough sense to come get public aid, you can have enough sense to go do something successful with your life. And I don't remember what she looks like, and she could be in this room right now, but that mother gave me some tough love, and it didn't matter that I was not her biological son, but she knew that there was no reason for you to limit yourself in this way. She said, get up from here and get out of here. And can I share something with you? It was in that moment that I decided for myself, I will never put myself in the position or under the condition where somebody could handle me like that. I'm so serious. She blessed me real good. She blessed me real good. Mothers give tough love. Mothers also give unconditional love. Mothers see the best in you when the best is not obvious. It's a mother's love that says, that could not have been my child. When she knows full well in the back of her mind that that was her child. Mothers give unconditional love, the kind of unconditional love that expresses as the divine and impersonal. Mothers love for the sake of loving. They love not because of what you can give them back, because they know that there is no way you can give them life like they gave you. And so they love for the sake of loving. They are not concerned with what or who they love, nor what we give in return for their love. This love that mothers share with us, this unconditional love, is an inequality that sees good, even though everything that we might be doing is hiding the good under layer and layer and layer and layer and layer and layer and layer of nonsense. If that's your word, just shout in the solace of your soul. The unconditional love of mothers knows that by refusing to see anything but good, it causes the qualities of good to eventually come out. And so mom knows that just because you don't have it right today don't mean you won't get it right tomorrow. She knows that love is a great harmonizer. It's a great healer. She knows that greatness is within you. And she knows it's within you because she knows that you came from greatness, because you came from her. Mothers give unconditional love. They give it unconditionally. I'm reminded of this story of this young man who had a mother, and his mother only had one eye. And his mother became the bane of his existence. Whenever she would come up to the school, the kids would ridicule him because his mother only had one eye. He was ashamed of her. He was jealous of her. He went on to say that he hated his mother because she brought so much trauma into his life. This young man did everything that he could to escape the shadow of his mom's deformity. He worked hard. He did well. He was successful. So successful, in fact, that he moved overseas to begin raising his family. But mothers, being what they are and as unconditional as they are, his mother showed up at his house one day. She knocked on the door. And when the door opened, it was his daughters who answered. His daughters, unfamiliar with his mother's challenge, cried and screamed in horror because they didn't know what they were looking at. And so he got angry more further, and he hated his mother even deeper. So much so that when he received an invitation to go back to his high school reunion, he stopped by his old neighborhood, and the neighbors gave him a note from his mother. His mother had passed by this point. He didn't bother to go to her service. When he read the letter said this: "My dear son, I apologize for frightening your beautiful daughters. I did not mean to frighten them. I only wanted to see you at least one more time. But I think it's time that you learn the story about how I have only one eye." It says, when you were younger, you had a tragic accident. And in that accident, you lost an eye. And I did not want you to go through life without the beauty of being able to have a fulfilling life and seeing life as I had seen it. And so in my sacrifice and in my unconditional love, I gave you one of my eyes. I don't regret that I did it because I wanted the best for you. And so now you know what I have been seeing all of my life. Mothers give unconditional love. And then mothers give transformational love. Mothers come to us as a spiritual catalyst to help us realize that we are great beyond our wildest dreams. These transformational mothers who give us this transformational love, they make us understand that we can take the loss, but we can still get the lesson. There's a hip-hop artist who has a song, it's like, get the loss, but you still get the lesson. And so these transformational spiritual mothers, they say things to us like, you are a powerhouse. These transformational spiritual mothers tell us things like, you are the thinker who thinks the thought that makes the thing. These transformational mothers say stuff to us like, you can stand on your own two big spiritual feet. They don't leave you out in the cold to figure it out on your own. They set up institutions whereby you might matriculate through to come to understand who you are and whose you are. These spiritual transformational mothers serve as a catalyst and a springboard to help us get to our best and greatest self. One of the things that I admire about the Catholic Church is that when you go to confessional, you don't go there to talk about the errors of somebody else. And so these spiritual transformational mothers remind you that everything that is in your life is the byproduct of the way you think and the way you feel. Spiritual mothers help us see that you can't talk yourself out of something you've thought and behaved your way into. Spiritual mothers make us grounded, and they help us to know that with God, all things are possible. Spiritual mothers work us from the inside out. They help us to be new creatures in Christ. They help us to see new ideas about ourselves, new possibilities about what is able and what we are able to do. They work through difficult odds. They work through challenging times. They stand up when everybody else is sitting down, these spiritual transformational mothers. They help us to know that we can do it if we will commit ourselves to it. These transformational mothers, these spiritual mothers, they remind us that there is greatness within us. And they don't have to be yours biologically, but they give of themselves until we know how to walk and stand on our own. I'll close with this. There were 2 battleships assigned to a training squadron, and these battleships were out for sea maneuvers. And off in the distance, the 2 ships were signaling one another. As the fog began to settle in and it began to be more difficult to see into the distance. One of the seamen said to the captain, "Captain, I see a light about 60 yards out." And the captain says, "Is it steady or is it moving?" The seaman said, "Captain, the light is steady." The captain says, "Signal to that ship and tell them that they ought to move about 20 degrees, because if they don't move, we will collide head on." The seaman sent the signal, and the signal comes back from the other ship. The other ship says, "Captain, we are here, and I'm suggesting that you move 20 degrees. The captain sends back and says, "Tell him that I am a captain, and they need to move 20 degrees. The person at the other end sent back, said, "I'm just a seaman, but captain, you need to move 20 degrees. The captain is upset now. He's a little PO'd. And so he sends back, "Tell them I'm a battleship. They need to move 20 degrees. The seaman signals back, "I'm a lighthouse. You need to move 20 degrees. And so to every one of you, remember that you are a lighthouse. Don't let anybody move you off the ground that you stand on. And you let your light so shine that men and women might see your good works and glorify your mother." God bless you.